So tell us a little bit about who you are.
All right, I'm Rett Watts. I'm the Paradigm and 930 worship leader here at First Baptist, and I'm 19 years old. I've lived in Lubbock my whole life. Went to Coronado High School, and now I'm going to South Plains College, pursuing nursing at the moment.
So kind of give us the backstory about where you come from and what God has brought you through.
Well, I mean, my family, when I was born, I kind of grew up in a Church of Christ church up until I was about 6 or so. And so, singing is a big deal there. So my family's always been inclined to singing and music. I was raised in a Christian family, but I definitely wasn't born on a bed of myrrh and surrounded by frankincense or anything,
Yeah.
So, growing up, really my story starts when, my parents got divorced when I was 5 or 6. I'm not quite sure. And for the longest time, that really kind of defined who I was. But I would say the big changing point where I can kind of say, like, this is where I realized what it was to show love and to be love is when in 8th grade, I was going to Trinity Christian School at the time. I kind of started hanging out with a new group of buddies, pretty much, who turned out to be my best friends and still are, and they play with me on this stage every week. We went on an 8th grade retreat, and I was, reading after one of the last services, and I came across 2 Corinthians 5. And from then on, this has been like my life verse, or whatever you want to call it. 2 Corinthians 5:14 says that Christ's love compels us. Therefore, we've concluded that one died for all, therefore all died. And so that hit me really hard. And I realized that what I thought I was had already died thousands of years ago. When Christ, said, "It is finished," he meant for me too. My flesh is completely dead. Maybe not now, but it will be. And so from then on, it was kind of like, what is it to love? What,
Right.
And my family was always very loving, I just had it separated.
Right.
It was half the love a kid needs in 2 different places, But through that, like, my family's grown a lot stronger. And then fast forward a little bit, when I was, I think 14, almost 15, I started playing with Scott and Philip and Brock and Isaac and some of the guys y'all see up here, in a band called 39 Thoughts. And that's where, like, my faith has really been grounded. And once again, it comes back to the music factor. Like, I know that God has given me that gift of music, to be able to connect with him in a way that I wouldn't be able to if I didn't have music.
So looking back at your story, you were basically, you belonged before you believed.
Yeah.
There was a group of guys that kind of brought you in.
Yeah, absolutely.
And not only was that a part of your salvation in the 8th grade, but it sounds like it was also a part of you discovering your call.
Absolutely. And it kind of all got thrown at me pretty quick. Like, I had always known what God was, and I went to VBSs and stuff when I was, a little kid, and remember accepting Christ because I didn't want to go to hell.
Right.
And
knew the Bible stories, and the Father Abraham had many sons.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and so, but I didn't really know what it was until I had the fellowship of those guys who kind of brought me in and said, let's do this together. We all know that we're not strong enough, and so, like, right then, we were all accountable with each other, and even from that young age of 13, 14 years old, we all knew who we could call on.
So how do you go from, this 8th grader meeting Jesus at camp, then you guys kind of start getting together, like, in the basement type deal?
Yeah, actually. Actually, basement.
Just trying to, GC and D on the guitar.
Yeah.
To where you're at now, leading hundreds of college students in worship every week, and getting to travel and lead people in worship, all over the place.
I think when, like, summer of, like, 2009, I think, we played at 4th on Broadway, and this was like our first like big thing, and we were all like, "Yeah, we're so excited! Our voices haven't even changed yet." And so like
That was the big breakout.
yeah, we were all excited, and from that point, it just like one thing led to another thing, led to another thing, led to 10 things, led to 20, and then 2 summers later, we were touring the U.S., going to Ohio and Michigan, mostly like the Northeast. We were up there a lot, Tennessee, and then the next summer got on a tour with a band called Bread of Stone, where we toured most of Florida, and just stuff like that, and it just kept growing and growing. We all started going to college this last semester. I had taken some online classes before, but this is like our first full-time load, and in the summer before, we were all kind of, thinking like, man, what's going to happen? We're all going to go to school. We're not going to have enough time to rehearse. We're not going to write anymore. We're going to lose the passion that's inside of us and everything, because we're just not going to have time or the money to be able to keep doing this. And man, just like one thing after another, God made a way for us to keep playing, and a big part of that is Paradigm.
I think it's pretty cool that you guys are up here as college students, leading college students. So you know the pressure, right, that they feel. You're right there with them. You're not immune to the challenges and difficulties that they face. So, how do you think that really helps you be more relevant than somebody maybe that isn't, or you understand what I mean?
Yeah. Man, like you said, like I'm just like every other college student. I'm trying to find the time in the week where I can stop and be with Christ and not fall into the trap of the constant routine of, okay, well, I gotta get up and go to an 8 o'clock class, and then I gotta go to this, and then I gotta, and then next thing you know, the next week starts over again, and you haven't even stopped to think,
Right. So what would you say, your heart is for Thursday nights? We get to see you on stage every week. We get to hear you, and you really help create that space for us to hear from God. But from your heart, your vision for Thursday nights.
Well, really, like, it goes beyond what my vision is, and what God has for it. But for me, like you said, it's nice for people to know that I'm just like them, and really that's my heart for Thursday nights, especially for it being an event where anybody can come, and on some weeks some random people may come, and that's my hope, is that they'll just wander in. Some weeks I just, mainly being up here, I want them to know like I'm just as broken, and coming to them in that sense, like I'm just as broken and I'm here to worship, and this is how God shines through my cracks, shines through my brokenness, that His light can shine through. That's really my message for everyone.